Hey everybody, it's IyaPatsy. I have been badgered this morning because, you know, a dear friend of mine has, I guess they've taken the red pill or they have become part of the fellowship of the manosphere and have even become personal friends of the late Kevin Samuels. So there's no reasoning, there's no point to be made because misery loves company. And if you don't want to, if you come into a situation with a bias already, then you're not open to any new information. So, and he's had this bias all his life, it seems, my dear friend. So, it was just a different level of just, male chauvinist pig. But I worked around a whole bunch of them, right? I worked in a job with a whole bunch of guys, and I've always been around guys, so that's not a big deal. Um, but over the years, as we've gotten older and life has happened to each of us, we both changed, of course, right? But sometimes your experiences help to elevate you, and sometimes they don't. And I guess that's a matter of perspective, right? So, but this man is going to be 60 years old soon. I ain't gonna lie on it. I'm not gonna call his name, but he said woman, he changed my life. And yes, he said things that were over the edge. But for me, I'm a new man with a purpose. And this is after him knowing that this is not a new conversation for us. And so he needs to be right. And of course, that's, what's wrong with me anyway, because I don't want to let him be right. I do wish he were right. And that's why when he suggested that I do the reading, when this first started becoming a thing, I did it. Because that's what he said, do a reading on it. And then, we'll see. And I did it, and I was, I sent it to him, and his response was entertaining. Okay. But all of this is to take me out of my character. I've figured that out by now. And I think he likes gutter snipe. And, he's entitled to that. But don't try to make me that. And don't try to portray me to anyone as anything like that. And don't try to belittle who you know me to be, all right? Because he worked alongside women in those jails, okay? And so he knows, and he needs to cut the nonsense now. But because he can't control his household, now he has to attack everybody else, all right? When it was going on, he wasn't doing that. He was complaining, and I'm sure he wasn't complaining to a whole bunch of people. And I kept his confidence. But you're not going to turn around now and try to belittle me when I'm working the same job you are, and I don't have a husband or a wife coming and bringing me, you know, half in the bills and all that other shit. And I was living in Long Island before I even fucking met him. So, come on, dude, stop. I don't, you know, I don't know what else to say to him. What do you want me to do? Move back to Brooklyn or go all the way back to the Bronx and live in the projects? Would that make you feel better? Because this has nothing to do with us. We are grown adults who have worked, who have raised children. We have grandchildren. We own our own homes. We each have our own pension, our own sources of income. So what? I said, okay, how many steps behind you do you need me to walk, babe? Tell me. No answer. Well, I don't know what the hell you want me to do, okay? And I'm beyond, y'all don't even know how beyond done I am. Because he sabotaged and betrayed me twice, and now 3 times. In 30 years, almost. Yeah, 30 years. Almost over. Well, I don't know, whatever. But I know I've known his ass since 1990. And apparently he just ran into Kevin Samuels over the last year and a half. You're not my friend. You never were. And you don't know me. Because if you did, and even if he said to me, we're not talking about you and me, we're just saying in general, but you cannot think that it's all right for a man to tell mothers that if their child, boy or girl, comes to them and tells them that their boyfriend or their husband or whoever was making them feel funny, that she shouldn't take that child's word, or at least come and talk to the other adult about it. Of course. I'm not saying that you're supposed to like listen to your child and just start packing your bags and not tell your husband or the father what's going on. Of course. And see what his response is. Have that conversation with the both of them. Okay? But you cannot say that a woman who wants to protect her child doesn't want her husband or doesn't want to be a wife. That's like Sophie's Choice, if any of you have ever seen that movie. And I really haven't, but I know it was about a woman that had to choose between which one of her children were going to be sent to the concentration camp or some nonsense like that in the middle of, you know, trying to escape the Holocaust. Something like that. It was Meryl Streep years ago. But I digress. Hopefully we never have to make that choice. And the way that we don't ever have to make that choice is you not being the type of man in your home or allowing yourself to be surrounded by friends or uncles and brothers or whatever crew that would put your child and your relationship at risk. I don't think that that's asking a lot. If you're going to spend all this time vetting women, vet your homeboys too. But if it's okay, if that's all right, if you don't value the innocence of children, male or female, including your own and your grandchildren, and you're going to support a man who encourages women not to, then who are you? You want to complain about the Republicans and the Democrats, they're just alike? You have no idea. So what the hell is going to happen when the Republicans take away a woman's right to choose and all of your homeboys start getting all of these girls pregnant, whether they're their age or not, or, related to them or not? What you going to do then? Help them kill the girls? Help them kill the babies? Smuggle them out of the country so they can get abortions in Canada or Mexico? What you going to do? This is nonsense. This is craziness. And I had to get it out somewhere. This conversation was earlier this morning, and I've done this day. It's already 16:32 in the afternoon, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And so I had been thinking about this. Hopefully I get to this part. But I was going to, and I discussed this with my son, and of course he's a man, so at first he was a little, and after I let him think about it, he said, all right, it made sense to him. So anyway, I was going to volunteer and put it out there. If there are women who have been adversely affected, negatively affected by being a guest or interviewee on that show, then if you want to, reach out to me and we can, you can show me the clip. This was the initial idea before just now. We'll get to that. Show me send me a clip and let me know, and we can do a live stream, or I can just do some kind of reading, or just give you my feedback on the advice that was given to you, so that you can have maybe, if I agree, I'll agree, but if I don't, I'll let you know, and maybe we can help with the healing, and not the personal attacks, right? So I'm not going to judge you on, how you look or anything like that. If that's an insecurity of yours, then we can talk about that. But I just want to be able to offer some type of healing for women who have been adversely affected, not trying to, gain any traction and discussion with any of the people who are, in support of that philosophy of Kevin Samuels and the Manosphere, Blue Pill, whatever they call themselves. I don't know what these things are, but anyway. And so since it's been the work I'm called to do anyway, whether he likes it or not, as much as he doesn't want me to do it, because apparently then I would know he thinks that tarot card readings is how I would know. No, I know because God finds a way to let me know. Wow. That's a whole different discussion. And what I said about him being friends with him and making me a target and having my channel demonetized, he didn't deny it. Not at all. because anyway, why even acknowledge it? Because he knows I know it. And also, why am I questioning him anyway, right? Because he's a man. Oh, it's real extreme with this one. And it's not my fault. I didn't do it to him. He was raised with parents, mother and father. He had sisters. He was the eldest, you know. And I know he surrounded himself purposely he surrounds himself with female energy. Because it's one thing if you're raised in a household, and it's another thing if you got a wife and kids and everybody's girls. But when you go and you're the coach of the female basketball team, that sounds to me like you enjoy being around female energy. So maybe he's going to take over his channel for him because he's been around females enough, just like I said earlier, that in the previous video that I made, that was the problem. And then when I watched, okay, so then this is what happened. Because I said, well, I talked to my son about it, and I said, well, I was accused, as usual, of not looking at it, not watching it. I've seen enough. I said, okay, let me go all the way back and watch the first one and react to those. That was what I was going to do. So let me just start with that. My son had told me, don't react in real time. Just watch it and write down your notes and then come back to it and then, talk about it. That way you don't have to make it too long. I was like, all right, good. And he knows, because we talked about it. And men's mental health is very, very important. And they do get a lot of pressure. And they feel like they're only here to produce and to deliver. And I know that. I'm very aware of that. And I know little boys have hurts. I've watched my father cry because of being an orphan and being raised in a home with his brother-in-law who was horrible. My aunt had to feed her husband, and then his kids ate, and then whatever was left over, that's what my father and his sister ate. They were babies when their parents died. 3 and 5. And he was 3. And I've heard these stories even from my aunt and even from my uncle. He was still alive, up until like 1984, I think. He is who he is. When I went there, they were old people, and she's still serving him first and putting his rice in one bowl and his meat in another. All of that is good. I grew up around that. My mother and grandparents, they served their husbands like that. Because my mother's from the Caribbean, so they kind of have that same kind of old school ways of doing things. But I don't know. I was taught not to depend on the government for assistance if you can help it. Not let your children starve, though. But you go to the welfare before you sell your ass. That's how I was raised. Apparently, it's sell your ass first now these days, and that's good. I ain't got no problem with it, but it was different for us, right? And my dear friend is very, very comfortable with that whole side of life anyway, and I don't hold that against him. I'm cool with it. I've been out with him to these places over the years. This is my buddy. But dude, no. I can't do that with you. I can't. I'm not saying that that Kevin Samuels doesn't have good suggestions, and that some of the points that he made from time to time may or may not be valid. It's not only just because of the delivery, it's because some of the information he's giving out is incorrect. And that's what I'm talking about. Everybody knows his delivery sucks. He prides himself on it. But he's lying He's making up shit and he's projecting his hurt onto other people for entertainment purposes. And it's really not helpful. And it's hurtful. But see, our tears don't matter. We know that already, just in general in the world. And so why should our tears, why should our feelings matter to our men? And I am at the place right now, ladies, and I'm not going out here saying that, men should be exterminated or, none of that. Black men should be, no, not at all. I am a mother of a black man. I'm a sister of a black man. I'm a daughter of a black man. I am an ex-wife of a black man. I would never. And I've worked in the system, so I know that everybody behind bars ain't guilty. And there's some people who are being held in detention just because their families didn't have bail money, and that's why they are doing this release thing. That needs to be tweaked quite a bit, yes, but I get it. But at the same time, they are not all Boy Scouts. And maybe we should limit who we let out to those who are adolescents, maybe, 16 and 19-year-olds. But, these grown men, they need to do what we've been doing with them because they're used to it. They don't know no other way to be when they get back out in the street but be that way because they've been institutionalized. And that's a whole other thing. What I'm saying is that I can have empathy for both sides of the story, and I can argue, actually, both sides of the case. I pride myself on my ability to do that. I proved that back in 1979 at William Smith College. Ask somebody, okay? So, and it was the same argument about Planned Parenthood and the funds from the chaplain's office being loaned, not given, loaned to female students because they were only going to go and have abortions. Well, who were they going to have abortions with? We were up in upstate New York in next to the lake. Aren't they getting pregnant by the males that go to this college? So what are y'all talking about? This was that kind of debate. And I got into it because I was the vice president of our student government. So I wasn't just up there, rah-rahing. This was a executive board meeting, emergency meeting that was called because this particular person had, was going to make an issue of it. And I had just found out that I was pregnant. Like July. So this is the school year started September. So nobody knows I'm pregnant except the girls who are on the executive board with me and my, at school. I mean, my family, everybody knew. But, Anyway, I'm there, and still wearing regular clothes and all of that, and we're having our meeting, and debate starts going back and forth. And he said to me, when he got to direct his vitriol at me, and you, Patty, we know what you would do if you were pregnant, if you were in that situation. Now, mind you, not only, I'm the only black person in this room. I didn't even realize that until just this moment. I was the only black person in this room. And this man said that. But we were students, right? And he's paid his dues, and, this money is from the chaplain's fund, which is part of the general fund that we all contribute to. And this is a loan. But this is 1979. And he didn't know what I would do because he didn't know I was pregnant as we spoke. But my thing is that people have a choice, and if someone gets pregnant and they need to make that loan and they don't have it available, just because the woman's the one coming to get the loan doesn't mean that she isn't doing it on behalf of her partner who is a student here who was a male. Well, that's when he said what he said after, other people said what they said and everything like that. So I paid him little to no mind, and I went on about my business and, went back to the room. Night was over, went back to my room. My girlfriend was, executive board. We talked about these men. And then, so that Saturday morning, the next morning, there was a big, beautiful, beautiful bundle of balloons and roses for me at the front of the house that I was living in. And it was from this guy apologizing. Apparently, the rest of the girls, after they left me, must have confronted him. And they said shocked, because he couldn't even understand that. He couldn't even wrap his mind around the concept that, what do you mean she's pregnant, but she still thinks it's okay for people to have abortions? Yeah, because it's about choice. Just because that's her choice doesn't mean it should be every other woman's choice, or not. And it just, he didn't switch parties, because years later I saw that he was part of the Albany State some lobbying, and he's a Republican. He's not going, but the idea that he couldn't even imagine that somebody could hold two sides of that type of an issue, right? But that was the whole reason. That was the whole thing about the college that we were at, is a liberal arts college, and you should be able to look at a situation from both sides and be able to argue both parts. But I guess he really didn't take the mission statement into as seriously as others of us did, right? Or they want to know how to do it so that they can know how to strategize. It is a way to strategize, because you know your enemy's game plan, then you know how to move, right? Right, so got all of that. It's strategy, but it's also open-mindedness. So you take it the way you want to take it. So anyway, I said, let me find the first. Because the argument was also about how long, he's only been on here doing this for the last 2 years. I was like, he's been on YouTube for a longer time than that. Oh no. I was like, come on. Even the Manosphere says he's been on since 2017. What are you talking about? So, you can't even agree with the rest of the fools, and he still thinks he's right. You know what I'm saying? So, there's nowhere to go with this. This is just stubbornness for the sake of being stubborn, because it's not even being logical about shit. In my opinion, because I'm the one that's being berated, and I have a right to defend myself, because I'm sick of it, okay? So, I don't give a damn no more about that. That's his lesson. That's his path. And I don't wish him anything bad, never have. But apparently, he has never returned the favor. Apparently, he's hated me since we met each other. And all these years, all of this bullshit has been purposeful. And I don't appreciate that. But that ain't got nothing to do with me. Because I'm not that person. And I'm not going to return evil for evil. I never have. And I'm certainly not going to allow this situation to cause me to just sully my soul like that. I know I've gotten more and more sensitive since, this spiritual awakening and the journey and all of that, 29, 22, and I said that, yes, it has. It's been a change. It's something I got to get used to, but I'm open to willing to learn, and he knows that. I let my son have his girlfriend move in. Come on, me? Nobody can believe that. But who am I to stand in the place of love? Especially here I am with this twin flame journey. And I know my son's a divine masculine. So yeah, I'm not going to be standing in the way of that. That's just more karma that you rack up. Oh, no, no, no. We'll just, I'll be who I am, and I'll be fine, and we'll be fine. And if we're not, we'll work it out. And we'll talk about it and love each other through it. Because that's what adults do. And that's what people who care for one another do. But this is something that happened long before I ever met him. This is a deficiency that developed over time, just like my triggers are mine, right? So anyway, he sent me some BOA site, and I looked at just the titles of that, and I was like, oh, this is another level to this devil. Oh, okay, no, okay. I can't even do that to my soul. So let's go back to the beginning. I'll skip all of the fragrance stuff, and let me see this first video where this one tells the story. I sat down and I let him know. I texted him, said, I'm watching. I got 9 minutes and 2 seconds into it, and I had to stop. I actually was holding my head in my hands like, oh my God. It was so weird. And it wasn't like heart attack. It just was it wasn't even heaviness. It was just like, ew. Yeah, like, ew. And oh my. And I couldn't watch any more of it. I even texted him back and I said, oh my God, I can't. And I went and that's how come I had a drink. Because I said, either I'm too high or I'm not high enough. Because I don't drink, so, normally, it's early in the day. So. And maybe that's it. Maybe because I don't drink and he does, and I smoke and he doesn't. Maybe it comes into, maybe that's... Anyway, what I want to say is that if there are women who genuinely have allowed themselves and are not pleased or satisfied or felt offended in some way or hurt, let me know. And then, on the other hand, if there are women who felt that they have benefited from it, no. Women whose relationships have been affected negatively, yeah, let's give us that voice, because we hear a whole bunch of all of the other stuff, right? But about you women who are in healthy relationships, or thought you were, whatever age, 40s, 30s, 20s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, hopefully not, Jesus, who have seen a side of that person that is not sexy or attractive. Because there are women who do find that type of behavior, that type of philosophy, they find that attractive. And like I said, ain't nothing wrong with playing a game if we all playing, role playing or something like that, sure. But this berating and demeaning and undermining and sabotaging my money. Thank goodness I don't need it. But then again, as materialistic as you are, as cheap as you are, how dare you? And you sending in donations to this person? Really? So when he was up in New York a few months back, you were entertaining him? Did he stay out at your house because you got room? Sorry, person. I'm sorry. I am so sorry that you were hurt and affected so adversely that you had to masquerade as a good person, as a decent human being, all the while knowing that you were a sociopath. You admit to being a pathological liar. And okay. But a traitor. I said, you believe this fraud, this con artist who is being proven every day, even since the man passed away and before, because this is not just piling on since the man died, but because you never wanted to look at it. Now you want to call all of the women these nasty names, hoes, bitches, this and that. Because they're coming up with information that may not be, and it's like, well, listen, we black people, we know we all go through different struggles, right? But the fact that he was trying to demean other black people who happen to be female, and you co-signing on it, may have had an edge. It's not, there's nothing about an edge. It's about listen. He was a character, right? He was playing a character on YouTube. But you guys took it seriously and you believed that shit. Now y'all up in arms. Ready to continue with the mission. What mission? Y'all all got child support in arrears? Because that's the only mission it was. All right? You want me to be that, all of that? I can do that. I've seen it done. But what for, man? We got more days behind us than we do going forward, and we're going to spend this time arguing about something that makes... What am I supposed to do? Go down and turn in my pension? I don't need it. I'm going to wait for some man. I'm not waiting on anything. I'm not holding out for anything. I'm open to whatever the universe brings me as the universe feels I deserve. Not holding out. I'm free to do whatever the hell I want to do. I'm a single woman. I can go anywhere and sleep with anybody I wanted to. But that's not what I feel like doing today. Tomorrow, it could be different or may not be. Hopefully not. I'm not a nun. But I have made a pledge, made an agreement, and I've been sticking to it. And I ain't been holding nobody to keep up their end of the bargain either. Knew they weren't going to keep it up anyway. But that's okay. That's them. That's between them and their soul. Ain't got nothing to do with... Oh, no. Ain't got nothing to do with me and my work and my salvation and what I feel comfortable and who I feel comfortable with. And you know that. And you stood by and you let your friend... The name of the video was, what was it? Let me see. how to get the woman you want join the CIA. And so the CIA is, I didn't even get into it long enough. Facts, amen. That's what a message came up while I was saying that. Couldn't read the whole thing. Notification. So anyway, yeah, so if anyone wants to, let's do that work to heal. And my intention was to start to do that too, just by, going through the videos and seeing, like I said, any places that I agreed or even disagreed, and then sharing that with you just so that there'd be an alternative thought process or discussion, perhaps. But I couldn't get through 9 minutes and 2 seconds in. So I don't know, folks. But if, for the purposes of healing, you can show me that you have been on his channel, give me a screenshot of it and a link to it, and send it to me. You can send it to me through send it to me at PB tab. Oh, somebody wants to know what my dress size is. Whatever dress size it is, you can't handle. So why would I even share that with you? Anyway. Not even a candidate. You weren't invited. Anyway, if you're interested in something like that and having that kind of a dialogue, I would be happy to help you. Send it to pbtarot7@gmail.com. I was going to say send it to the Cashapp, but I'm not doing this for that. I mean, you could send it to Cashapp at IyaPatsy with a donation. Yeah, you'd have to send it with a donation, Cashapp, and that information will be in the description box below, and I'll put it in the comment section and pin it of this video. So anyway, I can't even do this right now. I was going to do it, react now and do it in real time. I can't. I'm too riled up, and I don't want to. I've already said enough, right? Said too much. No, not said it. But what I've said. And if something happens to me, you all know where it came from. And maybe this is my way of protecting myself, because apparently, but then again, if someone's crazy and they got a death wish of their own or a suicide pack of their own, then they don't care who else they hurt and kill, right? So just putting it out there. 44, 47. All right. That will be done, right? But I'm just saying. Until then, send me like I said, send something to me. Let me know your name and all of that, what the circumstances were, and if I can figure it out from just your email, maybe I won't have to subject myself to too much of it. Or if you could just tell me which section of the video pertains to your question or your interview, then that might be safer for me and you too. So thanks very much for allowing me to share this with you, and let's start the healing. Okay? Both sides now. Peace.